Coming to you live yet?
Yeah, it says so. Not my camera. Okay, there we go. So the news just broke that, per reports, Juan Soto has signed a 15-year, $765 million deal with the Mets. And
look up, you don't have much stream delay.
Yes, I don't. This is the tweet that confirms it. Not sure if you can see it due to the glare, but that's the tweet that confirms Soto has signed with the Mets. And in this live stream, we are going to analyze my thoughts on this. So, first of all, I'm glad that the Mets capped it off at $765 million. They got him for that, and not spend like $800 million, because I feel like at least $765 million. That's $51 million a year, which the Mets have sort of budgeted for. If they went to $800 million, that's $54 million a year. That's a big difference, especially when you realize other free agents. Like, I feel like at this amount, you can still make another big move and still be fine. Like, I feel like there is a difference on that front involving Soto being on the Mets. So I'm glad they only went up to $765 million and didn't for $800 million, because I think that the Mets need a player like Soto to win a championship. But on the other hand, there's a limit. Now, as for him having more than Ohtani, I still think it's fine because it's a 15-year deal. Ohtani was a 10-year deal. So even though, yes, it's $65 million more in terms of raw dollars, there's less in the way of it's less per year. It's $70 million a year for Ohtani, $51 million a year for Soto. And Soto's only 26, and look at his numbers. Like, he is he is that. I see Dominic Citrangolo in the chat saying it is still an overpay, though. He's great offensively, but defensively, he isn't really great, like, at all. I mean, I feel like that's true, but on the other hand, it's tough to say, because if it involves something like glare, then that's different. Like obviously, if you're in the outfield in a position where the sun is getting into your eyes, that can be tough to for defensively to see where the ball is. I might be more willing to say that, like, I want to see how it is at Citi Field, because they find that Citi Field is a bit easier defensively to field at, because I haven't gone to Yankee Stadium since 2014, but I went to Citi Field 4 times this year, and I found it to be like the way that it's built just makes it a little bit easier, I think, to defensively. I guess it also depends on what games the highlights are from, what times they are in relation to when sunrise and sunset is. So I feel like the defensively thing, when do I read chat? Yes, I do read chat, although I sometimes, when I have a thought, I won't always read right away. Yankees greater than Mets. I'm not so sure about that. Because see, the thing is that on the one hand, yes, the Yankees did make it further than the Mets. But on the other hand, they both lost to the Dodgers. So they both, in that front, really did the same. The Mets had a tougher road, having to beat the Brewers and the Phillies, whereas the Yankees played the Royals and the Guardians. And furthermore, I think that there's also the perspective of, you look at how they started off. The Mets started 0-5, the Yankees started 5-0, and the Yankees finished exactly 5 games ahead. The Yankees started 41-19, Mets started 25-35. The Mets have gained became the hottest team in baseball over the last 4 months. Like, obviously, yes, baseball is 6 months, not 4 months, but I do feel like the Mets have a brighter future. The Mets have a brighter future than the objection from the FaceTime. I feel like when you compare the two, when you compare them, the Mets have a better farm system, and they have more developing talent. What?
Emily's watching the stream. You should say hi to her. Give her a shout out.
Don't just do that, especially when I don't even see their comments in chat. Anyway, I feel like the Mets, if they can actually come together the way that they did in 2024 and get better pitching staff, it's better. As a Yankees fan, I don't really want Soto because if we had to get Soto, we'd have to overpay him when he really defensively. His basic aggressiveness was just terrible. Well, his base aggressiveness was terrible from the perspective of you had Judge right behind him. So in the regular season, not the playoffs, but in the regular season where Judge was really good, then yes, you have to think about that. But when you look at the Mets, I mean, there's a good chance Mark Vientos is behind him, so it'll be bad. But you do get more aggressive on the bases. You do get more aggressive on the bases. And again, as I said, the defensively stuff, that might just be because of glare and sunlight angles. Like at Citi Field, it's built differently, and the outfield, I'm pretty sure. I want to say you're facing south on that. I want to say you're facing south because I remember you look over and you see Flushing Bay, which is to the north. So I think it's to the south. I'm not sure where it faces on Yankee Stadium, but I feel like it's to a different direction. I feel like you're looking in a different direction at Yankee Stadium. Someone can tell me in the chat if I'm wrong on that. I'm almost positive Citi Field, if you're in the outfield, you're facing south. But anyway, going back to Soto, I feel like if you're going to win a championship, you have to make a big splash. David Stearns did not make big splashes in Milwaukee. His teams frequently made the playoffs and then just collapsed down the stretch in the playoffs. I feel like with this move, the Mets and in 2024 in the offseason, it made sense why they didn't go all in because obviously it was meant to be a transition year. You didn't want to compromise the future. Now that you know that you have the talent to make it there, you have to make a splash. And I feel like even with their payroll, if you let certain free agents walk and trade away certain players, like you'll still have enough money. Like you could still get a top tier pitcher. Although again, I'd be careful, like re-sign Mania, but like I'm a Mets fan who does not want the Mets to sign Corbin Burns. I feel like Corbin Burns has gotten washed. Citi Field is a lot more different than Yankee Stadium. I've been there once and it really isn't sun unless it's sunny today. So I went to 4 Citi Field games this year. One was a Sunday 140 game when it was like partly cloudy. One was fully sunny. And at 410. One was a 410 game where it was cloudy and it was actually like 0.05 inches of rain during the game. And then the final one was a playoff game in October 508 when it was during sunset. And during that, I saw poor defense from Marte. But again, like if it's the sun, I can't blame that on an defender that much. I just personally feel like I don't buy into that he's bad defensively. I think that the aggressiveness on the base is. I mean, like I think it was only bad when you realize that was in relation to Judge going behind him, and I feel like because since Soto will be the best hitter on the Mets, it would make a bit more sense. And I feel like again you need a person who can contend with MVP because on the Mets like Lindor really can't contend with MVP with Ohtani. Soto could if he continues to improve. Again, I think this is a bit of an overpay, but championship teams make gambles. This is a big gamble, but the Milwaukee model has been proven that that you can't win championships just by going based off of the Milwaukee model that Stearns used. So again, I like the move. You want assorted? Who is this? Ian, are you assorted gaming?
I'm unmuted. Am I what?
Are you assorted gaming?
No, my YouTube channel's Ian Cutler. Do you want me to comment on that to prove I'm not sort of gaming?
Yeah, please do that. So again, like those are those are just my basic thoughts.
I commented from my YouTube channel.
Okay. So again, I just personally feel like this move that the Mets made, on the one hand, like it's aggressive. It's aggressive. It's certainly like a gamble, but on the other hand, I don't hate it. I feel like I feel like this is a move that is going to I mean, you have a fair point with Sun Kings defend his eyes, but stats and film don't lie. Yeah, I haven't actually watched the film extensively. I just know that in every single highlight of it, there's always seems to be light getting in his eyes. Which again, at some point, a sort of gaming. Who are you? Wait, Ian, you have 3 accounts.
No, I literally don't.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Cause who?
My other account is also titled Ian Cutler. I'm not sort of gaming. I'll promise you that.
Cause I don't know who else it would be friends with Emily, Lindsay, Amanda, and Ross.
Who said it's the one for our school? Maybe it's another Emily, Amanda, Lindsay, and Ross.
The chances of that happening are so small. It's about the chances of the Miami Marlins winning the 2025 World Series.
I don't know, Gutman.
But it is almost 10:30. I do have to get up at about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I am going to have to end the stream here. I'll have more videos on my Juan Soto. This is just my initial thoughts. I think that's a good move. I'm glad that they didn't go completely over the top for it, and I do think you need to make a gamble to be a championship contender.